Community education. Which one I put my new business?
Oh, okay. If you're a new business, I guess this can go into community and owner relationships.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
all right. So we're going to get ahead and get started here. Donnie, would you be able to invite Rizal?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we made a change on the time.
Mhm.
Let's do this first. So the theme of this discussion will be around a few topics. Let's do let's see. Let's do some exercises first. I think this can be a bit more practical. Okay. All right. Risky, have a seat. Bring your machine. We'll do some practice here today. Yeah.
Which channel?
It's slash Bukit Vista. Slash Bukit Vista. Yeah. Oh, whoops. We're supposed to be in Bukit Vista too. Let's see if Rizal's there. That'd be funny, yeah. Okay, not there either. Okay, have Rizal come to Bukit Vista one. That'll be fine. Okay.
Oh, it should be mainly. What else?
No, it's okay. If Nungli's not here, then that's fine. We're gonna do some practical stuff.
Okay.
Normally, as me and Nungli, we talk a lot about theory.
Mm-hmm.
So today, I think we can go into a little bit more on some special cases. Right? Go ahead and feel free to join the
Yep.
join the channel. It's in slash Bukit Vista, and hey, this is great. This is like kind of a workshop table, a true
Yeah,
workshop
yeah.
table. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we can do. My first suggestion is on part of new business is we add this new side. This will be practice. Okay, so what practice is if you have any things that you'd like to practice revenue management on, let's begin there. Let's say in practice we should put the procedure. So one is Trello calendar. All right. Maybe the other thing is time management. And then the other thing we can do is essentially pricing decisions. But before that, maybe risk assessment. Okay, all right. So these are a few topics I'd like us to practice on today. In fact, I'd like to just spend the whole time on revenue management about this right now. Just to give you a big overview on what's happening inside revenue management currently, we're trying to automate revenue management at the moment through Tokeet's Rate Genie tool. This is pretty expensive. It's $500 a month, so it's the same cost as using Tokeet. But because of these two frictions, one, that it's pretty costly, and second, Tokeet's been stable, we haven't actually decided to move forward with this. But this will allow us to programmatically do revenue management. There is a revenue management SLA currently, and part of that is creating predictions that we want to have for. Wait, what are these? Okay. Oh, okay. There's some squad level SLAs here too as well for revenue management. All right, let's go into this part. Oh wait, let me finish. A lot of the discussion of revenue management is actually coming up with revenue projections. So this is just to let everyone know. Revenue projections are going to be critical to the expansion of Bukit Vista. If we can create revenue projections for all our partners in the future, then they have a stronger reason to work with us because they can do their budgeting. They can, and also we are now accountable for revenue because we created that conversation with our partners. So this currently is a very, I think this is going to be a long form project. This won't get done in 1 month or any short cycle. So we are developing new projections, new formulas, and new ideas how to move this forward. The current friction is that market builders are supposed to come out and present revenue projections to new owners, but there's no quick way for the market builder to create the projection yet. So anyhow, okay, This is the other HR part. So I had agreed to talk to D1 and Risky about stepping into early stage revenue manager role. And I've got Risky, Rizal, and Gani now as all volunteers for this. So this is actually going very good. If you want to know more about the theory of revenue management, if you really want this could be a very good career path for anybody who's data driven and is interested in career attainment. Revenue management is something that's generally very well paid, either here or elsewhere, because essentially you are determining how much input will come into the company. There's a bit of math involved, there's some statistics involved, but the more you read and the more you understand it, the more sense it will make. And that part is available here. This, if you really want to know how Airbnb works, this is a really cool video. I watched this video about 10 times already, and I finally understand it
but
now.
there are
Right?
possible on the second
But if you want to know how Airbnb's search architecture works, this is everybody who is doing professional host management, I think, should watch this. This is the secret. This is Coca-Cola telling you how to make their formula. So the context of this wasn't about actually Airbnb sharing their secrets. It was about actually Lucene. Lucene is a general platform for creating search frameworks that a lot of companies use. Lucene is used at Dropbox, it's used anywhere where you see a search bar here. I know that looks super simple, but there's actually a lot of magic that happens behind that search bar. And if you want to know more about it, there's that too. Okay, why am I telling you all this stuff? Hopefully so that you come to the next revenue management discussion. But in the meantime, let's work with something practical. So I think we talked about the Trello calendar yesterday. So let's take a look at the Trello calendar for today. We're all working on Squad 4, right? Revenue management? You're working on Squad 1 revenue management. 1 and 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see, the Squad 1 Trello. So we always manage revenue from the partner relationship management, and we always look at the card. One of the things that you can do to manage your time effectively that I love to do, I'll just pitch this, right? I'm a real big fan of this new tool, which is Mind Hero. Mind Hero allows you to just really, when you do revenue management, you should be thinking nothing else besides revenue management. Nothing else, all right? Because if you don't focus, then you're going to make a price change, and later on, you're come back and like, why did I do that? So let's just say we're going to have a revenue management discussion, and this is going to take the next 15 minutes, or the next 25 minutes, and we start now. Oops, sorry. So start it. And this is a cool tool. You can, if you guys want to use it, you can create whatever sound. Something to create that ambiance, right? Okay, so we have our time management tool. We have our Trello calendar. So let's go into it. First thing you need to make sure is that you have the Trello power up. And then the Squad 4 has the Trello power up. And then you can see all the different cards. Now, right away, you can see how you're doing in terms of, and not just you, but anybody can look at this and see what's going on. You can see I'm kind of behind, right? Some of these revenue management and this objects. And today I have these objects that I have. So I'll just do a quick one right now. And this is a review of what we did last time. I'll pick Bing and Ombak. Bing and Ombak is a guest house, so the feel of Bing and Ombak will be similar to Squad 4 properties. So the first thing I do is I want to do the rate setup. Like basically I want to have two Toki tabs open, one for rates and the other for looking at the calendar. This allows me to be a little bit more efficient. And I definitely want another tab open for BB stats. So that then is essentially my dashboard. That's my work desk that allows me to be efficient and hopefully finish in 25 minutes. So what I'm looking at now is I'm going to go ahead and go in the calendar tab here. And I'm going to type in Google Doc. I'll type in Google Doc. And the first way I need to see this is I need to look at a risk assessment. Got it. Where do you see potential revenue risk? Yes, we're talking about risk assessment now. So we need to look for a revenue risk. Where is the revenue risk? Yes, that's one possibility. Where's another revenue risk? Okay, that's another type of revenue risk. When I see this, I see all kinds of revenue risk right now. This is what I see. I see all these empty dates up ahead. I don't have very many dates before my rooms start becoming empty. You see that? Starting from September 1st, this room is empty all the way through. Starting from September 1st, this room is empty for a gap, empty for a gap. I see all this revenue risk. This is revenue risk. If you don't get that sold, then you're not going to hit your revenue projection. Okay? So that is what revenue risk looks like. Let me show you what revenue risk maybe does not look like. Let's say you have a very light chunky. Let's just take a comparison. So why this is taking so long? Probably because okay, chunky. Where's my revenue risk at chunky? Mm-hmm. For which particular rooms have I the highest risk? Right, Stonehouse 1 has the highest risk because it's essentially completely empty all the way from August 30th onwards, right? Where would I have the highest second amount of risk? Where is the most amount of risk after that? Yes, White House 1 has yes, okay. And then after that? Stonehouse 3, yes. So now you're able to see where essentially the risk is. Your job is to be like Tetris and fill these little gaps there, okay? So I do have small amounts of risk here on these little gap days, but those are maybe under prioritized. Right? They're not huge. This one's huge. You are looking almost at losing an entire month worth of revenue if you don't find a way to get that to start selling today. All right. Okay. So that's one assessment of risk. There's an occupancy risk. Then, in order to gauge that again, I can look at another factor. What factor should I look at to understand how attractive my listing is? Yes, booking pace. So we're not talking about Little Chantik right now. We're still talking about being an Ombak. We just went over to Chantik to take a look at what different amounts of risk look like. Okay, so let's go back over here to our booking pace, and we take a look at being an Ombak. Okay, so what do you see at being an Ombak? Got it.
It is high on 24, 25.
Yep.
Flat.
Okay, has it gotten any bookings today?
No.
Has it got any bookings yesterday? Okay, all right. So generally what we do is we look at, let's say, the last 7 days. So I can go over here and check out the last 7 days. And I look then back at being an Ombak, and I see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 units at being an Ombak. So in about a week, how many bookings should I get risky? Yeah, per room, right? So then 7 rooms, how many should I get? 14. 14 to 21. All right, so 14 and 21 are my boundaries, and I see that actually I've taken only about 8, right? I got 3 here, 1, and 1. So I've taken 8. So what I know is currently I'm not as hot as I should be for being an Ombak, right? Let me then compare that with something else. Let's go back up to Chantik. So Chantik, in the last 7 days, let's see how many bookings it's taken. How many bookings has this taken? A little bit more, sir. That's 10, and then 4.
20.
About 20. Yeah, it's taken 20 bookings. Now, okay, I divide 20 by the number of rooms at Chantik. How many rooms are at Chantik? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright? Okay, so there's 8 rooms at Chantik. I have 20. So that's within reason. Right? That's between 16, 24. Alright, between 2 and 3 bookings per week. So I know that Chantik is on a really healthy visibility cycle, and being an Ombak is on a less healthy visibility cycle. Alright, what's the next stat I should look at? Booking windows. Okay, so then I take a look at what at the booking windows. And once again, you have to decide what length of time you're looking at, right? So if you're looking at, let's say, all the check-ins from June 1st of this year to December of 2020, it looks a certain way. But you can also drag it back. You can go back to 2017 if you want more data or if you want less data. Now, why would I want to slide these numbers upward or forward or whatever? Yeah, but sometimes I maybe don't need more data. Sometimes I might need less data. In what case is that?
You need more data to set the median.
Yes, I need more data to set the median, but I also know this. I know year to year things can change, right? If things change, then essentially I might not be actually looking at anything that's relevant. Okay, we had this problem last time too. All right, we have a problem here. We can't see what the booking window of being an own buck is. Let's see if we can see the booking window of Chunty. Oh wow, quite a lot. Okay, so the booking window of Chunty is about how many days? What is the median booking window to Gani?
21.
21 days. All right. So if looking at Chuntik, I know that within 21 days, then only about what percentage of guests make booking decisions under 21 days?
How do I know?
It's what the median means. What's the median mean?
I'm going to understand.
It's a statistical question. So the median is the middle number,
Yeah.
right? So the median, let's say 1, 3, and 10. The median number is?
3.
Right. So half the numbers are below 3,
Yeah.
half the numbers are above 3.
Yeah.
Let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you have, I don't know, a more complicated case of where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. If it's evenly distributed, take the two numbers. But okay, what it means is essentially half the people make booking decisions under 21 days, half the people make booking decisions over 21 days. Does that make sense? Right. So essentially what I'm looking at is this. I'm looking at, let's say, I'm sorry, I keep on going between Bingham, Ombak, and Chanti. But let's say I'm back at Bingham. Okay, I can't look at Bingham and Ombak because I don't have a statistic, right? So we're back to Chanti again. So at Chanti, I can see this. I'm about 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm about 3 days away from revenue risk right here on Chanti and Stonehouse 1. Okay? Generally speaking, my audience makes a booking decision. 50% of my audience makes a booking decision 21 days into the future. So all these people over here, well, they would have booked already. Okay? So really, I'm just looking at half of that. In fact, I'm not even looking at half of that. I'm looking at people who are really booking super last minute, like within 6 days. Okay? So what does that mean? It means if you make a price adjustment 290 days into the future, almost 100% of people are your audience. You can sell to anybody. If you make a pricing adjustment 21 days into the future, then half the people would have already booked, right? If you make a pricing adjustment last minute, then you're really only targeting these people who are booking last minute. Does that make sense? So basically what I'm telling you again is this, that let's say you go 21 days in the future, so that's 4 days over here plus 17. Now, I know this. All these dates, 21 days in the future, have less than a 50% chance of being sold out. Make sense? All these dates, 21 days in the future, have less than 50% chance because I look at the booking window here. I know that at Chantique, pretty much 50% of people have made decisions 21 days and into the future, and 51% of people make decisions 21 days below the future. So what does that do to my risk of unsold room nights here at Chantique? Are these high risk of being unsold, or are they low risk of being unsold? High risk, because once again, my median is high. If I take a look at, let's say, something that turns over fairly quickly, like I think Kako, right? I'm guessing Kako. Wait, it's not here. I don't know. What about Kurikalapa? Kurikalapa, I think, has a pretty short booking window. What? It's not here. It's terrible. What? This thing is worthless. I'm missing a bunch of data. Okay. Labak. What is going on? Okay, there's something odd about this. All squads, all things. Let me see. Okay. Let's take something else. Let's take something that I expect to be in there. Let's take lot 3. Okay, so lot 3 has a different type of booking behavior, booking window than Chantik. Lot 3, does it have a longer booking window or a shorter booking window than Chantik? To be honest. Okay, what's the median?
About 40,
34. It's longer.
longer.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right. But what does it mean in terms of the ease to sell? They plan more. They plan more. So this is what we're talking about. If you're going to adjust the price to give a discount to sell a room, you have to think about this price adjustment 34 days into the future, not today. Because if you make an adjustment today, how many people book last minute? This person, this person, this person, this person. Very few people book last minute, but a lot of people book with some planning. Okay, so here, every time, I'm saying, so we're gonna have to squat. Understanding the booking window means you understand essentially how to assess the risk of revenue to unsold dates. So I can see Gunny's still not entirely sure. What do you think would have a super long booking window? What's something that people would definitely plan ahead on? Let's go to Rumah Pertama. Something really large should have more planning. I was wrong. Okay. Rumah Pertama has a shorter window than Lot 3. Something large and expensive, maybe like Cerita Indah. Okay, I'm right. Yes. The booking window on Cerita Indah is 87 days. Why? Why is it longer than Lot 3 or Rumah Pertama? It's bigger. And generally speaking, people who are in bigger groups need to plan less or plan more. Right, because it's hard to get 14 people to all have holidays on the same day. Right? So you're probably not going to get 14 people and just walk up and get a villa. In fact, most people probably wouldn't be that reckless anyways, because 14 people without a place is a big problem. Right? But this is why people plan more. But what does this mean? This means if you're down to, let's say, 10 days and you have empty dates on Cerita Indah, are you less likely to sell or more likely to sell? Why are you less likely to sell? Yes, exactly. If you're talking about, let's say, a wedding venue, let's say you're a wedding venue, and your wedding venue is empty tomorrow, do you think a last minute discount will attract somebody to all of a sudden book it? Why? Because people need to plan the wedding. How far do they need to plan the wedding? All different people plan the wedding at all different times. You need to know what the median is. Okay? You need to know, let's say, the median is some people plan 300 days, some people plan 50 days. The median is not the average, but the median. It's like the middle number. Some people might plan 10, 25, 50, 60, 100, 115, 117, 118, whatever. The median gives you the time when you know 50% of people have made their decision, and still 50% of people haven't. And so this allows you to assess the risk, right, of unsold inventory. So if you see that, like, let's say Cerita Indah, okay, sorry to jump around, but let me just jump to Cerita Indah. If we're talking about Cerita Indah, and we look at that, do you think those dates will be sold from the 8th to the 12th? Then Chantik, right? Then Chantik, then Lot 3, then Rumah Pertama. It is much harder to sell those dates. So if you want to sell those dates, what would you have to do to the discount in order to get it sold? Proportionally, would it be a higher discount in Lot 3, Rumah Pertama, and Chantik, or would it be a smaller discount? It has to be a bigger discount. It has to be a bigger discount because if you want that last minute sale, then you have to get really, really attractive somehow to get that sale. All right. So things with short windows, generally like guest houses and stuff, you don't need to make such a big discount. You can maybe make a 10, 15% discount, and then that's usually easy to sell because the booking window is really short.
Yeah.
People generally just rock up and they go, but you don't know unless you look at the booking window of that particular property. So booking window analysis gives you an idea how to do markdowns and discounts. If you see long booking windows, then you need to start thinking about discount a lot further into the future. All right? If it's a short booking window, you can kind of wait till the last minute, and then offer a discount. Right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so understanding that is key. Every property has a different booking window. Right? Every property will have a different pattern. Your job as doing revenue management is to understand what that pattern is and then be able to predict what the outcome is. Okay? Make sense? All right. So, what are we talking about here? We're talking about risk assessment. So, we're talking about risk assessment due to occupancy. We're talking about risk assessment due to booking windows. And we're talking about risk assessment due to visibility. And all of these.
Rizal wants to jump in.
Oh, go ahead, Rizal. Yeah, Rizal wants to talk. Hey, Rizal, are you there? Sorry, I only can watch it. Watch the parts that we began later. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. So we talked about a few things. We talked about booking windows. We talked about occupancy. We talked about visibility. These are all data assessments that you can make to determine what the risk is. Okay. So there's two sides to risk too as well. We've often dealt with the risk of not selling the room, but there's also the other risk. And what's the risk? There's two sides to risk. One is not selling the room. The other is selling the room too cheap, right? So you have two sides. You essentially have a low side and you have a high side. So you could sell it for too cheap. How would you know if you sold it for too cheap?
You could complain or not.
No. That's wrong. Complaints from an owner is not an indication that you sold it for too cheap. It could, most of the time, is an indication that the owner doesn't know what they're doing. Right? A complaint from an owner about selling a room too cheap is generally a knee-jerk reaction. Right? They just don't really understand what revenue is. They still think that they're selling carrots at the market and that their carrot should cost the same. What they're not selling carrots. They're selling fresh flowers. They're selling fish. They're selling things that have a short shelf life. If they don't sell it, then they have to throw it away. But the difference is with fish and flowers, you have to grow it. This grows naturally every day. Every day, without even doing anything, you get new room nights, replenished forever. So the real question is not about how cheaply you sold it, but how many room nights did they not sell at the end of the month? If they sold 0 room nights at the end of the month, then you selling one for what is too cheap is actually not too cheap. That's what the market's willing to pay. Whatever price you thought you were getting is not the price people are paying, so that's not a real price. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's not how you know you sold it for too cheap. How do you know if you sold it for too cheap?
Rizal cheap. I mean, compared to the other two.
Nope. Everything is individual. Everything is based on its own performance. Ideally, you should always cover the operational cost. And believe me on this one, if somebody complains about the operational cost, you ask them direct, how much does it cost to operate your property? And can you put those into two figures, fixed cost and variable cost, right? And what you find consistently is that the operational cost for operating property is very, very, very low, super low, all right? And the majority of that is, do you think it's fixed or variable? What are the biggest costs to operating a property? Salary is number one, and then water and electricity. All right? Okay. Water, where do you think the majority of the water goes? Maybe, but there's another big water expense, especially in a tropical country. The pool. The pool evaporates all the time, right? So you need to replenish it with water all the time. And the pool doesn't care if there's guests or not. The pool will evaporate all day long whenever there's sun. Okay. The second biggest cost is electricity. What's the major source of electricity we use? Aircon, what's the second biggest one? Okay. Net lights, that's another one. Not really net lights, there's another one that's pretty big. Not big. There's one that uses a lot of power. Back to the pool again. It's the pool pump. It's the pool pump. You need to keep the pool pump running for about 8 to 12 hours a day, and that's a pretty big pump, and that moves a lot of water. So those are fixed costs. Your biggest fixed costs in electricity and in water are fixed costs. Okay, so you're going to pay that no matter what. You're going to pay like $500,000 for electricity every month to keep the pool water running. You don't need to pay that, but your pool turns green, and it becomes disgusting. And nobody will want to swim in it, and then your property is unsellable, unrentable. So, what's the cost of, let's say, laundry? $5,000 a kilo? How many kilos of laundry in each room setup? Maybe 2. maybe 10,000 a kilo, 10,000 to replenish all the laundry. What's the cost of electricity? I don't know about you, but if I leave the AC on all day, I think it runs out by about 20,000 rupiah. All right, for 20,000 rupiah per AC run all day. It doesn't run all day. Okay, what about water? Okay, how much water could a person use? They shower once in the morning, they flush the toilet 5 times. You know, how much does water cost? Not that much either. Probably less than 20. So let's say your operating costs for room fully staffed, whatever is probably around maybe 50 to 100,000 a day. Okay, at worst 100,000 a day. Well, how much do you lose if you keep the room empty for, let's say, a month? Let's say it's a 300. You aim to sell at 300,000. You can only sell, let's say, at 200. 200 is a sure sale. 300 is a stretch sale. So how much would you lose in a month if you didn't get any room nights booked? 200 times 30. So it would be 6 million. Right? So a lot of people would rather say, I don't want 6 million. I'd rather get a few nights sold at 300,000. And at the end of the month, they get maybe 5 nights sold. They get 1.5 million. Minus cost, minus everything else. And so the biggest loss was actually in the unsold room nights. So, okay, back to the main question again. Sorry for distracting. How do you know if you sold a room too cheaply? The booking pace. The booking pace. The booking pace. It's the booking pace. The booking pace is the objective way to understand if you sold the room too cheaply. Like, I'll give you a case. Rumah Pertama. So we accidentally sold Rumah Pertama in August for a bit less. And this is how we know that we sold it too cheap. You see that? That's a single unit, all right? That is a single unit. So that should sell at most 2 times a week. But look at this week. It's crazy. It sold twice, 7 times, 9 times, 10 times, 14 times, right? You got 14 bookings in 1 week. That is way too fast. How many bookings should it get in a week? 2 or 3. Get it? So if people, just imagine this. Imagine if you're selling like something super cheap. What happens? Everybody gang rushes you, right? Everybody jumps on you like free shit, right? And all of a sudden you have a line out the door, and everyone's trying to get in. That's how you know you sold it for too cheap. Okay? Yes.
Is it applied only for villa? How about the guest house?
The same way. If let's say your guest house has 6 units, right? So you should be selling about 12 a week, but you sell 40 a week, right? Then you know that you're selling too cheap, right? You need to be able to actually price up a bit so that you can control the reactivity, okay? So it is a little bit like a nuclear reactor. It is a little bit like, I don't know what other analogy we can use, but essentially you need to be able to use the booking pace to determine your pricing efficiency, okay? If you're selling too fast, that usually indicates that people find it a great deal, and that's why everyone's coming and booking right now, because they don't know if anybody else is going to do that. You don't need to worry about what anybody else is selling, all right? If you're selling too fast, it means you're too cheap. It means that people are shopping. You can assume people are shopping. You don't need to wander around and look around what people are, because you know why? It's actually too complicated to ask that question. Every room night for every property is a different product. Right? So I don't know if I'm selling too cheap for this night or that night, or I have to look at all 365 nights of the year and all of them across all my competitors. Fuck that. That's like I have to make thousands of comparisons. I can just look at this. It's one number and it signals a lot. I know that everybody who booked this probably shopped, so I can assume that. But if everyone's shopping at my store all of a sudden, I'm getting all these bookings all of a sudden, that means I'm too cheap. Right?
Got it.
Okay. The other way to see it is, do you guys know what an hourglass is? Okay. Your product is like an hourglass, okay? So what you're doing every day is, this is what most owners don't understand. They don't see it as an hourglass. They see it as essentially infinite, right? Every room night you don't sell is like sand dripping out of an hourglass. It expires every day, right? Your job as a revenue manager is to keep this hourglass full, okay? Sand is dripping out. You need new sand to come in. What is the sand analogy? It's the number of bookings that are already happening, right? If we don't take any new bookings every day, our hourglass is empty, and that's useless. It's just not functioning. So your job is to essentially replenish this hourglass so that it always stays full. So in another analogy to see it, if the hourglass is too full, like you're putting in too many bookings, then you're not getting efficiency, right? Because some of those bookings might have paid a little bit more, so you're just overstuffing the hourglass. But if you're not keeping the hourglass full, and essentially the rooms are all expiring, current bookings are always checking out, no new bookings are checking in, then your hourglass is empty. And when the hourglass is empty, you don't get paid. We get paid every time sand flows right through that bottleneck, right? That's how we get paid. That's how everyone gets paid. So if sand doesn't flow out, checkouts are not happening, then these are check-ins. Check-ins are entry points and checkouts are exit points. If you have far more checkouts than check-ins, then you're not balanced. You're not going to make any money. Okay? So that's essentially how you fill. That's the optimal revenue fill. Not the price, not whatever, that's the optimal revenue fill. And the biggest opportunity in the market right now is most people don't know that. Most people just think about the price, right? But the price at the end of the day doesn't pay your staff. The price at the end of the day doesn't pay your profits either. The revenue actually pays it. Price is imagination until somebody has actually paid for it. It's just an idea. 350 is just an idea. It's not a real sale until somebody has actually paid for it. Okay? All right. So definitely get that thing into the idea. All right. So you use the booking pace to determine your pricing efficiency. You use visibility to use the booking pace to determine your visibility. Okay. And then the next step. Now you need to actually make a pricing decision. So generally we have what's called a markdown strategy. What is a markdown strategy? To Gunny, what do you think a markdown strategy is? Risky. What's markdown? Pizza. Yeah, it's a way of setting a lower price. What do you think markdown strategy is?
Is it giving discount?
Yes, it's a discount strategy. Right. Rizal, what do you think a markdown strategy is?
Reducing price, sir.
Yes, it's a strategy on reducing price. So effectively, we work the same way as the fashion industry works, right? So when something is newly released in the fashion industry, is it at the highest price or at the lowest price?
Highest.
So it starts at the highest price. Why?
Because it's going to be on demand.
Because it's new. It's new. It's new. So it's new, and so it starts at the highest price. And why does it start at the highest price? Testing the market out. It's a probe. You're sending it out into the world, and it's a probe. It's going to figure out what the real price of that object should be. So once it starts running, either people buy up all of it, and you go like, that was the right price, or maybe I even charge more for it, or people don't buy up all of it, and then you're left with all this leftover overstock that then you got to move it out. Right? If you're Uniqlo, you got new stuff coming in, you got stuff from last season that isn't selling, you have to move it out. So then you use a markdown strategy. So what's the markdown strategy? How much to discount, how far before the expiration date settles in. Let's say as Uniqlo, you have a batch of clothes that comes in on January 1st. By April 1st, it needs to all move out. So then you need to think about what is the leftover inventory versus what is the discount. On the first day of January 1st, when it hits the shelf, you don't need to give any discounts at all. You see people buy it, right? But let's say you have 50% of it left on March 30th. This is catastrophic. By tomorrow, on April 1st, or in 2 days, by April 1st, you need to move it all out. So if you then give a markdown, right, it has to be a huge markdown to get all this stuff out of the door. But if you gave a markdown gradually, starting from, let's say, January 1st was full price, February 1st was 25% off, March 1st was 25% off, and then on the last day, maybe it's 40% off, right? Whatever it is. That's a markdown strategy. So then that allows you to gradually and effectively roll out all your stuff, not at a last minute discount where you're giving it away for free, but in a way that's planned and structured. Make sense? Okay, so we use markdown strategy. So then the next part is you got to make a decision. Let's say you're looking at Bing and Ombak now. So, sorry, all this big run around and we're still back at Bing and Ombak. So let's say you're at Bing and Ombak and you got to make some decisions right now. You're looking at Bing and Ombak, okay, and you got to consider what is your markdown strategy here. So for tomorrow and this next gap, I better give a, okay, so let's talk about relative discounts then. If I'm trying to sell Bing and Ombak Lantai 1, because that's the highest priority one, right, because that has the most revenue risk. So I should focus on that first. And then I look at these two dates. Do I need to give a bigger discount here, or do I need to give a bigger discount here?
On the 2 days.
Yes, on the gap. And why is that, Vita?
Because it's closer to today.
Yes, and in fact, it happens tomorrow. So then I need to go over here, over to Bing and Ombak, and I need to see what the prices are. I already know that the reactivity is kind of low. I know that the visibility is kind of low at this point. It's not as strong as it could be. So when that happens, then I'm forced to usually give a lower or a higher discount than when I have high visibility. If I have low visibility, do I need to set a bigger discount or a smaller discount? Bigger, right, because it's already not very visible, so I should set something higher. So, okay, I'm looking at this. I'm selling it for $69. Then here's my boundary point. I need to know what the relationship with the owner is, right? I know that this is essentially a green zone property. This property is green zone. Amanda and Salam have historically been very open to price changes, and that's where I got to make a decision, right? So then what I do is this. I need to copy this, and I need to remember how bad things look like on August 28th for Bing and Ombak. So I copy that, and that is my number one evidence for giving a discount. I'm looking ahead, and it seriously looks very risky for revenue at this point. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is I gotta think, all right, how much do I need to sell these for? If I'm really serious about it, I probably need to bring it down to 50%, but I know nobody's going to approve that. So I'm going to give what I think is the biggest I can give at this point, and I'm going to give a 15% discount. All right, a temporary discount from the 28th to the 31st, I guess. Yeah, and I'm going to make it $59. And after that, I'm going to screenshot that again, right? And then I can save it, and that goes in. If I want to be extra thorough, I can just inform the owner at this time, hey, look, this is what's happening. This is what I'm doing to your price. And they will probably say, thanks for the information. Please go ahead. There's two ways you can do this. You can either wait for the owner to say, okay, or you can do it and tell the owner you can veto it if you don't approve, right? I'd rather go with the veto approach because most owners, this is like, there's a fire happening in your house. Can I put it out, or do I need your permission to bust down the front door? Like, please put the fucking fire out, right? Don't ask me permission to open the door. Just put the fire out. Because later, it doesn't have any, there's no point in coming back and saying, hey, why was September empty? Well, we were waiting for you to get back to us, and, like, you didn't, and, oh, but I was so busy. Yeah, you didn't, so we didn't change the price, and the next time I checked, it was already September 15th, and all of September was gone. I would have totally approved that. You should have done it. Well, it's too late now because it's already in the future, and there's no point. The worst that can happen is that, oh, okay, you did that. Please change it back. I don't agree. But they almost never say that because you have found essentially a hole in their system, and they usually say thank you. And if you don't believe me, we can try it out. So we will tell Amanda here. Okay, Amanda. All right. Haha. Fail fast. Move onwards. Okay. So we're going to go and just show her these two situations, right? So these things, and we're going to tell her, hi, Amanda. You've done well over August, but September is looking a bit empty for one lantai. I've readjusted some prices to improve your revenue performance. Okay, all right, great. And let's see what she says. Okay, let's say Amanda comes back to me and she says, I don't approve the changes, whatever, such and such and such. Then what can you do? How do you answer that question? How do you educate an owner?
It's better than you get nothing.
You can say that, but there's an even better way to do it. Okay, this is the best way to do it that I've learned. You can show them what their weekly sales look like. Okay? You can go to them and say, hey, look, Amanda, this is what I see right now. Let's go to your monthly revenue. So your monthly revenue, as of today, at Bing and Ombak, And I'm not going to look at now, last 2 quarters. I'm going to look at the next 3 quarters, okay? Let's take a look into the future. This was Amanda's revenue at the beginning of August, on August 2nd, okay? And this was what it looks like on September 1st. It's done really well. It's $5,000. The problem is, Amanda, your revenue right now for September is only 1,612. Your revenue for July was 4,000 and such. Do you want this to stay the same, or do you want to move this number up? And the answer is always, I want to move that up. Great. We have about 4 weeks to move that number up. What number would you like that to be? I don't know. 4,000? Great. Amanda, then if you want that number to move up to 4,000, then you should make how much a week? About 1,000 a week. It's a little bit, so you have 3,000 gap, right? But you should be making about 1,000 a week. Let's take a look, Amanda, at what you're actually making. We'll go over here to weekly sales, and then you go and you look at. I'm sorry, I'm going to ask by you to get this all on one dashboard one day, yeah? So you can just look at booking pace and everything, you can select it. Okay, Amanda, currently you're doing really good about the second week of August. You're getting more than 1,000 a week, and currently this is the way it's looking. And we're going to try to keep that pace continuously until September, right? And that will mean that your revenue goes up. But actually, this doesn't count towards your revenue because this is August revenue, right? The 545 in the orange, this is all August revenue. So you're probably earning about 500 a week now for September and onwards into the future. So if you really want to get to 4,000 right now, we are not looking like we're going to get there at the current weekly pace. So let me go ahead and screenshot this and keep that in the record too. So if there needs to be an explanation, I have an explanation, right? Because then I put this here, and it justifies that decision. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Rizal, do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so now I've essentially shown the owner through many ways that you have a revenue risk here, all right? I took action to fix that revenue risk, and I'm taking action to increase your weekly sales. So what do you want me to do? Do you want to get no weekly sales or whatever? Let's say, for example, let's go to a more difficult case. Gunny, and then, okay, when I'm done, am I done with being an ombak? Am I done with being an ombak, guys? Am I done with being an ombak? No, because I have all these other things to do too as well. But for right now, let's say, which one do I want to work on next? Maybe this one, standard 3, because it's also looking fairly
I have
empty.
a question.
Yes, sir.
So if you only set for one lantern only,
Mhm.
one price, not
Mhm.
this.
Nope, they're all different. So it's like essentially,
Oh.
these are 1, 2, 3 different products. This is all the same product. Okay, so these are 3 different products. This is 4 different products altogether.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so they have 4 different essential things and such.
Really different than Musafini.
Yes, yes. Chantique is also 8 different products. No, it's 4 different products. There's 4 different types of rooms. There's a teak house, white house, stone house. I forgot whatever else. Right. So there's 8 rooms with 3 different
Okay,
products.
but what happens when all the room is same, and then there is
Yeah.
there is
Then that's where representative inventory comes in, sir. If there's one particular unit that's not doing so well, identify. If we had representative inventory, that wouldn't happen. But because we don't, then what you need to do is you need to go to that particular listing and find a way to optimize that listing through content.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
If there is a particular listing that's not performing, then we need to figure out what is the content solution to get that performance up. Because generally, it's either a bad review is there, or the title and photo sucks, or something's not working that makes it attractive. Because everything else that we can do in revenue management is the same. All we do in revenue management is just set the price. So if the price is working for 3 of the listings and it's not working for the 4th listing, there is nothing that revenue management can or should do about that particular case. I guess we can't even control that because it's a group rate. It gets set as a group. And technically speaking, you shouldn't need to do it either. Okay? So that is representative inventory solution and a content solution to get that fixed. Let's go to Gani's case today. Gani, which particular case was giving you a headache today?
Sambu.
Sambu, right? Okay.
Actually, I have put in the new business.
All right, fantastic. Let's take a look at Sambu. All right, Mr. Owner at Sambu is looking at a few huge revenue risks right now. What do you see as being the revenue risk, Rita?
So it's not like today is 28th,
Yep.
and it's not yet booked on.
All empty.
Yeah.
Basically, all empty.
Yes.
Here, this is what we need to decide. First, let's set up our workspace. So we're not going to be on squad 1 anymore. We're going to go over to squad 4. Okay, so squad 4, where's the... There it is. There's the PRM. And let's make sure we have our calendar management system, which we do, which is great. And then let's take a look and see what we're working on. Well, already, Vita, what is the problem here? What is the problem here, Risky?
There's so many
That have not been reviewed,
Yep.
right? They're essentially out of rotation. These, I don't know what has happened to these, but they do not seem to have any revenue management process yet on them. So these need to be scheduled into. Your cards need to be ahead of today's date, not behind today's date. Okay, that's the number one problem. Okay, so let's take a Sambu and see where's Sambu. Where's Sambu? Sambu's over here. Okay, you're already ahead of the curve on Sambu. I would dispute why did you put it here? You put it on September 2nd. And it should be scheduled ahead of September 2nd. And why is that risky? Why should it be scheduled ahead of September 2nd?
Why you to be held September 2nd?
Yeah, the schedule on Sambu is a review on September 2nd.
Oh, because before I moved to here, this
Oh, it's already here.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I understand. I
1
understand.
week
Okay.
after I
Right,
set
but then
once.
once again, you can determine that yourself. You don't need to put it 1 week. Ideally, for something that has this kind of revenue risk, I would not look at it on September 2nd. I would look at it on when?
Tomorrow.
Tonight, 29th, probably, yeah? Because by the 29th, you start already losing 8 nights a week, right? Or 6 nights a week. So if you put on the 2nd, you're already in the middle of shit zone already. And so then it's worse, right? So it's like, don't go and put out the fire after it's completed burning half the room.
Yeah.
Put out the fire before the burn starts. And the burn starts right here on the 30th. That's when things start looking really bad. Okay, so once again, don't be locked into a certain way of doing things. Be agile. Be mindful of what the next check date is. Okay, so let's take a look at Sambu and see what the conditions are. Okay, that's my first comment. I would probably move Sambu over to the 30th and have a discussion with the owner there. Okay, Sambu is there. And let's take a look at what the problems are. So the current problem is, of course, this. So this is where the risk is, and this is the first piece of information we should put on to the card. So today is August 28th, and on August 28th, it's this timestamp on August 28th, and we can see just a few days into the future, we're looking at empty roads. Okay, then let's take a look at what Sambu's selling for. So we'll go over here, and we'll look at the rates for Sambu. Okay. And it's probably all one rate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's all 250. Okay. Let's go over here. And Vita, what panel can I begin first with to understand a little bit more about how Sambu's doing? Let's take a look at the monthly achievement for Sambu. So let's go over here, let's go to Sambu, and let's see what Mr. Owner should be expecting. Mr. Owner at Sambu Bungalow should be expecting... That's terrible. Okay. That's dog shit already. Alright. $300! God damn. Alright, let's take a look at the next 3 quarters and see what he has lined up. Okay, Mr. Sambu he's made $300 for August. This is his peak season. How much money has he made in September? 0. 0. No.
Because it's already blocked by him, right?
Part of it's already blocked by him. Yes, you've seen that already. So part of it is this kind of bullshit here, which is always getting into the way of us actually succeeding because there's no availability. And what do we need? Very first thing we need is we need availability from the market builders. If they don't give us availability, then we're just never really able to get any success. Because in order to get, you need availability in order to get bookings. You need bookings in order to get ranking. You need ranking in order to get a higher price. You need to get the higher price in order to optimize the revenue. So without availability, there is no beginning to that journey at all. All right. So ask your market builders to focus on that. All right, so Mr. So-and-so here, who is upset, is looking at absolute revenue risk for next month. He's made 0 money so far. Then we can take a look at the weekly sales. So let's see what the weekly sales look like for Sambu as well. And I would imagine they look like shit. But that's just my hypothesis. Let's see what the reality is. And the weekly sales are $70 right now. $200, $70, $70. Like $70 a week, that's terrible. Oh. That's fewer than salaries here. That's
No.
some people here make more than him. All right, so essentially, this is a funny problem. This is kind of a moron on top of a moron. So what I'm seeing is a person who has already reduced his weekly sales from 200 to 70, and if he wants to increase the price, then he's looking at essentially a loss over the next few weeks. You can go like, sir, what do you think the right price should be? This is your not your opportunity to struggle. You say, what price do you want it? Said, put it at 350. No problem. I'll put it at 350. Here's what we're going to do for you, Mr. So-and-so. Here. You're going to do this. You're going to follow up on the 30th. Or you can follow up on the 2nd. If you really think this guy's an idiot, just follow up on the 2nd. Okay? Let him suffer a little bit. So what you do is take this model, and then this is probably the most clear way that you can explain it. Just take this template at the top, copy the top, and you can use it for anything. Ish. Okay. So you can take it and you can make a new paper, Gani, and you can call it Sambu Bungalow Revenue Management. Okay? So go to Sambu.
Oh, I made.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Where is it? Is it on the card?
No, on the.
It should be on the card.
No, comment.
Oh, don't put it on the comments, then it'll get lost over time, sir. Yeah, we'll never find it again. Okay. All right. Great job. Thank you, Gani. So Gani will take this comment and he's going to take and put it up at the top in the description so that we will never lose track of what's going on here. So we're going to edit that and we are going to make a revenue management paper here. So this is the revenue management. And the next step Gani should have is he's going to let the owner win, right? You're going to let the owner make up his own idea about what he thinks is right. But you're going to keep track of that. And you're going to make sure that you tell him next week when it doesn't work, why it's not working. All right. First, occupancy is with an O. All right. This is good. Okay, this is good. But this might confuse somebody. This is far easier. So take this template at the top, copy that template, start using it here. Just go, all right, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Made, you don't like the price. Today is August 20, let's say today was, when did you change the price? August 27th, yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Gani had the pricing suggestion of what 250? IDR 250?
Yes, 15.
215?
Yes.
Okay. 215,000. And what dates did you apply that price to?
For
Okay, well you should know. I will know what it is just by looking at this, right? So we'll take a look at Sambu, we'll take a look at what the rates are, and you applied the rates here, all categories, default, okay.
September.
Oh, okay, so you apply these 250, sir.
This is after
He changed it,
owner, yeah. After
Okay.
owner
All right, that's fine, whatever. So you made it from August 17th to September 30th, so you just put that down over here. August 17th, or 17th, okay, all right. September 30th. And you price it this, and you just take a look at what this was before. This is what effectively was happening before, okay? And then we just changed the price today. Yes, sir. We put it out over here today. Okay, so this is what things were looking like before the change, okay? And the booking pace was looking like, let's check out the booking pace. That's how move. Actually, this isn't exactly accurate. This is 3 stages, in fact. Okay, let's take a look at the booking pace. And the booking pace was looking like this, yeah? You don't need to look at the last 60 days. You just need to look at the last 14 days. That's fine. Okay. So, this is the booking pace. What's so funny? Because it's terrible, right? It's terrible. What should he be doing? How many should he be getting?
How many rooms do you get?
6?
6. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, does this look like 12? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 2 weeks. So it's 3. So it's booking at 4 times slower than it should be. A quarter than it should be. Part of that, once again, is no representative inventory, sir. Once you get representative inventory, you should sell a lot better. A lot better. Okay, so essentially, that is your before. But it's not exactly right either, right? This is your before at the old rate. What was the old rate before you changed the price?
Sorry.
What was the rate before you changed the price to 215?
Oh, that's it. Dynamic pricing.
No, but what, before you changed it to 215, what was the price before?
Yeah, this is dynamic pricing, and I found the one-off listing is
Mhm.
180.
It was at 180 before.
Yeah, and one-off listing because
I'm confused.
I,
Okay.
I I remember
So you raised the price from 180 to 215.
because before I set the 150, Mas Bayu set it to dynamic pricing. The
Uh-huh.
lower is 115 and the
Uh-huh.
highest
Oh,
350 dynamic
really?
pricing. Yeah, and then I'm not sure what is the correct price, and then I check the listing
Uh-huh.
and it say 280.
Really?
So I think that dynamic pricing is not working well.
Hard to say.
Bottom line and the top line.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see, Sambu. Let me see what kind of rates have been arranged here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the Sambu group rates and waiting for this to come out. If it is dynamic pricing, then it should show. Oh, have you changed it back already from dynamic to standard pricing?
Yeah, I
Ah.
just delete the dynamic pricing.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we can't really see. So the performance before was actually on dynamic pricing before.
Yeah.
All right. So the pricing before was not 215. The pricing before was effectively dynamic, and it was what's the low swing?
115.
115.
Yeah. Sorry, 215. Sorry,
And the high swing?
350.
Okay, and it priced it at 215 all the time because it was low occupancy, probably, right? Okay, probably needs to actually even go down further. Okay, so the suggester actually at that point was Bayou, right? Okay, and then your thing ran for just a day, right? Okay, so it almost didn't even happen. So then now, August 28th, we have the suggester as Patmade, right? He wants standard pricing. And how much does he want?
150.
250.
200.
Okay, all right. So he's saying 250, and it's for the same dates, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, perfect. So this is what he's done, and all you need to do is come back on September 2nd and show him. Well, these are copies, right? These are essentially the same. Okay, come to him back on September 2nd and show him what his weekly sales are after you made the change. If he doesn't get it, then it means he's moronic and you can't teach him, right? But if he sees that his weekly sales went from being $70 to $0 to $0 to $0 3 weeks in a row, then you can probably just go, hey, look, your price is wrong. Your price is wrong because you're not selling at all. And your booking pace went from this 6 a week to 0 a week to 0 a week to 0 a week. And then, you could probably start wondering, yeah. People need to see the cause and the effect. So let them become the cause. Just let them do it. And say, hey, you know what? You're smart. You probably know more than I do. Sometimes they're right, right? I've had 2 cases here. So let me tell you 2 different cases and what the outcome was. This is case 1. This is Villa Olala. So Villa Olala was doing really well at $400, right? That's the price that we sold Olala at, lot 5. On July 18th, Lily calls and says, hey, you know what, Jing? I want to raise the price. I was like, I don't think you should do that. No, I want to raise the price. I don't want any more sales below $468. I go, you know what? I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to let you do it. Let's do it. Okay, so let's take a look. You were getting 5 bookings a week, and your weekly sales were at $8,000 a week at $400 a night. $8,000 a week of sales. Okay, what happened afterwards? You changed the price to $468. Now, the weekly sales, you get 2 bookings a week, and the weekly sales have dropped from $8,000 to $2,000, just on $68. Do you want to continue doing that, or do you want us to be involved? So she said, okay, fine, back to you again, right? Actually, before this even happened, she called in and she said, hey, look, I want to change, I want to lower the price again. I said, nope, you wanted the high price, the experiment isn't done, you might still be right. So we're going to wait until the experiment's done. And that's important. You want control. Because if you don't have control, then you just, owner wants this, you do that, owner does that, you do that, you don't control shit. So control your owner by telling them, hey, look, You want this, let's wait for the end of the experiment. You might be right. You might actually make $10,000 a month on that. But let's let the evidence work itself out. She said, okay, fine. But I still don't want to have empty nights in September. I said, I don't think it'll matter. We still have lots of runway, but this will clearly show what the results are. So, like right now, I can't see what your results are, sir.
Yeah.
Because you got squeezed out, right? Like between your input and buyer's input, the owner got in and it's disappeared. So now it's hard for you to build confidence on what would have happened had that price change happened, right? 215, we don't know. Nobody will know now. Nobody will know. Okay, so stick with the price, say this is what it is, and then this is what happened. So we changed the price, and we went from 2 bookings a week and 2,000 a week to getting 3 bookings a week and 3,378 now. Already better. One more booking, 50% improvement in booking, 50% improvement in sales, weekly sales. Okay, on August 2nd, we decided no more changes. We'll keep that running. And we went from 3 bookings a week. It went down, actually. It went down. It went to 2,058. And then on August 11th, we decided, okay, it's getting harder to sell in September. We're going to keep it, we're going to give a discount to smaller groups. Because we know in September, there's going to be smaller groups traveling. So instead of having it 400 for 4 packs, we make it 375 for 4 packs. But we still have the extra person fee kicking in case a big group shows up. So then we still got 3 bookings, we got 2,000. We went from 3 bookings a week at 2,058. It went up again. It went up to 3 bookings a week still. It went up to 2,924. People Lily then got back in, and she raised the price again. And so now we'll see what happens. And we're supposed to check it up on it on August 22nd. And let's see what happened.
Okay.
Well, let's see. We're going to go from Sambu to Olala. Okay. So, okay, in the last 14 days now, we've seen that when do we make the change in pricing? We made the change in pricing on August 14th. Okay. And after August 14th,
600, sir?
what, 600?
So they want
400. Yeah, this is for peak season though.
Oh.
This is for December 21st to January 15th. All right. This is my suggestion. I told her you should do that because, we shouldn't give away Christmas and New Year's for cheap. Because if we don't sell, what can we do? What strategy can we use? Come on, guys. What's the strategy we use as the decision?
show their revenue.
The markdown strategy. We use the markdown strategy as the time comes closer if we can't sell the rooms, right? We'll try for 600. If we don't get it a month before, we can get 500 maybe. And a few days before, if we don't get it, we'll sell for 400, right? But, okay, we'll eventually get it sold. All right, let's take a look what happened. So on August 14th, we changed these prices and see what happened on August 14th. August 14th, since now, the weekly booking pace has been 14 to 21st was 2, and then it went from 14 to 21 is, it's really good. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bookings happened. And then this week, 2 bookings happened. So 4 plus 2, let's see, went from, what is that? 4, I can't do math. 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So it's on average now getting 3 bookings a week. So that's the new figures here. Okay, so we can put that there. And before, it was getting 3 bookings a week. Okay, and the weekly sales was 29.24. Okay, I know it's not August 22nd anymore, it's August 28th. But essentially, the booking pace has remained the same, 3 bookings a week. Okay, and let's see what the weekly sales have looked like since we've made the change. The weekly sales now for Olala have, all this making sense? Rizal?
Yes, sir.
All right, fantastic. And then the weekly sales for Olala look like, all right, August 14th we made the change, and it looked good. Oh, well, I can't really tell, right? There's sort of shit.
In the middle.
Yeah, there's sort of shit in the middle. But I'm stuck. But apparently it was a good decision, maybe. I can't say it was a bad decision, right? Could I? I don't know. Let's see if I this is why you gotta scan your data more frequently, right? So, okay. There was 2,924 on August 14th, okay? Right? And then after we made the pricing change, we went 2,900,
So 3,000.
about 3,000.
3.5.
No. There was about 2,924 in that pile on,
August 14,
yeah.
and then
So
the
2.5.
Yeah, about 2.5 went up, right? So I couldn't say that it's actually worse. It's actually kind of doing better now, right? There's actually a pretty good number of sales. I'm going to put another picture in here. And where is that? No, I haven't.
You haven't scanned.
Yeah, good call there. All right, so this is the change. For all intents and purposes, it looks actually fairly good. She's right. And this is what I mean. When you have experiments, you can kind of see what it is. So my booking pace is still 3 a week. And then my weekly sales is now 2,294. Since that change, 5,400 plus 2,940. So about 2,400. Yeah, that's pretty consistent. 2,400, right? It's about 2,400.
No, we don't add the 2,000 in
This?
Huh?
No, because this one's
Isn't
kind
it
of like
till
a,
20?
till the 22nd, yeah? No, because I'm looking at weekly sales, right?
Oh.
So I'm looking at what was the weekly sales before and what was the weekly sales after that. So the weekly sales after the price change was, there was an additional 2,460 that came in for the rest of this week, and then 2,470 that came in for the following week, yeah? So I'm getting about, I got a little bit more here. This is a little bit contaminated because I made the change in the middle of the month, in the middle of the thing. So I know I got 2,900 before that, and then I got 2,400 after that. But I'll say that essentially it's 2,460, right, to 2,470. That became the weekly sales after the pricing change was sold. I know. Wait. Actually, I'm not entirely confident. Why am I not entirely confident? Because this is 5,000, right? So, but of that 3,000, about 2,900 was made before the change was implemented, right? So, what am I actually looking at? Ah, I know what I'm looking at. Yes, you're right. You're right. About this. What I should look at is I should look at 2,460 plus 2,470, and then that's 4,930. And then how much do I have this week now? Then I have three. Okay, I'm not sure how much of that is that. But, and then I divide that by, this happened on August 14th, right? Then I divide that by how many days from August 14th until now, okay? How many days?
40.
14 days, right? So I divide that by 14 days, and then, wait, what? And then I multiply that by 7 again. Yes. It's about the same, 2,460. Do you understand what we just did? So we looked at essentially what was the total sales after we made the price changes into the future, okay? So on August 14th, we made the price change. Since August 14th, we made about 4,390. I know there's a little bit here, but it's pretty small. So we'll just kind of ignore it because I don't know how much of it is, let's say.
So I think it's same, not
Right.
get improved.
No improvement, right? So essentially, yeah, that's your
Actually,
analysis.
it gets lower, sir.
Yes, it got lower.
2.9 to 2.4.
Yeah, it went from 2009 to 2.4. So now I can go back to Ibu Lily and say, hey, you know what, that price actually ended up reducing your weekly sales. Your booking pace was the same,
500.
but yeah, it reduced it by $500. You earned less $500 by changing the price. What do you want to do now? Does that make sense? Yeah? Who cares if you're selling nasi goreng for 15,000 or 16,000? But if you make 30 million a month selling at 15,000 and 2 million a month selling at 16,000, then you should probably sell at 15,000, right? Because that's what really matters at the end of the month, is how much of it is sold versus how much of it isn't sold. Okay? All right. So
So what happened if there is the on the weekly sale is no.
No growth?
So we gotta lower the price again.
Yeah, you should lower the price, right? Or you can just say we can keep on making this forever. Or do you want to start making like this back, like when we were doing in September and August, right? We're making 3,000 a week. Now you can still get 3,000 a week by selling more rooms at a cheaper price, but you can't sell them at a higher price when the peak season is over, right? Cool. Make sense? All right. So that's the third thing that we learned. We learned essentially how to use not fashion. We also learn about owner expectation management. And the way to do that is to set a pricing experimentation template. And you can use the Olala pricing as a way to do that. Okay? All right. This should get you through about 95% of most reasonable cases of people who are reasonably intelligent and they can understand what's going on in their business. It cannot help you with people who are morons, of course. And yes, we do deal with people who don't get it. No matter how many times you explain this, they don't get it. But people like that, generally, you don't need to work with very long because they'll fail themselves over time anyways. If you don't understand cash flow, if you don't understand the point of having cash flow into your organization, then sooner or later you're going to go bankrupt anyway. So you're just dragging us down with you too as well. So does that cover most of the situations that you think? Okay. All right, great. So that pretty much does it for revenue management. I think we went almost an hour over, half an hour overtime, yeah? Okay, so that was one of the longest revenue management. Okay, let's go over to Rizal. Rizal, any questions on your side?
All good, sir.
All good? All pretty clear?
Perfectly clear.
Okay, perfectly clear. All right. I'll stop the